And we're back. The Sportsedge, powered by sportshandicapper.com. Little summer hiatus, get everyone ready for football. But the boys are back in town. We got some big shows coming up over the next several weeks with our guy Seal, that won the Westgate handicapping contest. Of course, we'll get to my man Jamie in a minute. Starsky and Hutch, Sideburns, and so many more. Let's bring him in. Everyone's favorite English cracker. You like to wake up and have, I think sometimes fish and chips in the morning, right? But you always have chips throughout the day. You never get.
I tell you what I did do. I was down here I was out last Saturday afternoon, and me and the girlfriend ended up in a curry house here in Costa Rica, and I didn't eat any of it on the afternoon, and I saved it for Sunday morning breakfast. So nice chicken jalfrezi and a keema naan for breakfast on Sunday morning was real good.
It doesn't get any better than that. Well, listen, there's a lot to get to, and it's great to see you, Jamie. And obviously, golf season winding down. We're going to get into some golf stuff in a second here, but just wanted to start with this. We got Seals on assignment this week. I believe he's acting as a courier to bring presents to the lower southeastern part of the United States to all the good children, kind of like an early Christmas. So he'll be back coming up next week. But, you know, you and I and our great team and Starsky, of course, Seal is his great family, Sideburns, and a lot of different people were able to go to Vegas after, for the Super Bowl last year. And maybe people that are, watching this show for the first time, and I just want to kind of explain to people what happened, because there are different handicapping contests, Jamie, throughout the world, but there's really one that means more than everything else, and that's the Westgate handicapping contest. And it's not like, I don't want to say that it's impossible to win it, but it's close to impossible to win it. You have to make 5 picks a week in the NFL. The spreads are determined on Wednesday, and there's thousands of people involved. And to win it, it takes a lot of skill. Yes, you got to have a little luck here and there, but it's primarily a skill situation where someone like Seal and our great team at sportshandicapper.com have the ability to rise above a lot of pretenders and a lot of other great people that have won it in the past and that are very successful. And it all comes down to a situation like this, where you've got a check for almost $350,000. And it was only because the pandemic lowered the price of the entry. Normally this would have been over $1 million. It's less. I mean, the it's great, but it's about the fact that Seal won this thing and Sports Handicapper did. And I just want to kind of talk to you for a minute here before we get into some other things as we get ready for football to start. We've obviously got college games. We're recording this here on a Friday. We got a full slate of college games, not necessarily some great ones, but a full slate coming up on Saturday. And I don't care if they're all terrible games, it's still college football. Then the NFL will get going after this final preseason week in a couple weeks from now. But what was that experience like for you? I know you kept going to that ridiculous English pub at the Mandalay Bay for breakfast, meaning lots of Guinness and other things. But talk about the experience of being in Vegas for the Super Bowl. There's 3 weeks in Vegas throughout the year that are looked at probably as the busiest and the most exciting weeks. There's the opening week of March Madness. There's EDC Vegas, which is one of the biggest EDM festivals and any kind of concert type situation in the world. And then there's the Super Bowl. And we were there for that. And not only there to have fun, but to celebrate Seal winning the Westgate. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, well, no, that was the first time I'd ever been to Vegas.
Which I think is crazy.
Yeah, you've heard about it I've been, I'm 47 now. I was working in betting shops in England when I was 18. And when I was 24, I came over to Costa Rica. And for the last 20 odd years, I've been down here in Costa Rica doing sports gambling and working in the business and in the industry. So to go to Vegas and to hear what everybody says about it, but then to actually be there and live in and see it, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, those sports books there in the casinos are I can't wait to go back. I think we were there for 5 or 6 days. I don't think I'm going to do 5 or 6 days again, but 2 or 3 a 3-night trip there, a long weekend. To me, it was the best place in the world.
Yeah, we got to, as we were talking about before we started the show today, I've been I'm going back to the end of September for my friend's 60th. I've been there 6 times since we were there in January, so we got to get another trip together. But it was an incredible experience. And I'll tell you this, it's a big deal because obviously Vegas is the betting center of the world. Of course, you can bet legally where I'm at in Michigan and Pennsylvania, where Seal is, and other places. But for forever, it's been the Mecca, and it still is when it comes to like the biggest sports bets and just the guys that are the best in the industry that do it professionally, like we have here at sportshandicapper.com. And I remember there was a guy, I think that a couple people, these guys knew who I was from media and radio TV stuff from Detroit and VSiN. But they figured out that Seal, I was friends with, part of the Seal's, cavalcade of whimsy. And it was like they looked at him and then us as like celebrities because it was such an amazing thing to be able to win this Westgate handicapping contest. And I know that football isn't your specialty, golf is. We're going to get to that in a second as the season is wrapping down with the Tour Championship. We're about to ramp up again in a couple of weeks with the Fortinet, and we'll get to your process and how you deal with all that in a second here because you've been so successful throughout the years, betting golf and giving golf picks out there and your great spreadsheets you put together. You spent hours on them, and it's incredible to see it. But being someone that, as you mentioned, has been in the business for a long time, and then to see the reactions we got and just the experience of knowing that we were part of this team, and obviously it was Seal's picks for Sports Handicapper on that one entry, that we won this contest that separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls, whatever you want to say. I knowing what being in the business for so long, and then seeing that and knowing what the kind of credibility it gives you, even though Seal didn't need any credibility, he already was looked at as one of the best. What was that for you? What was that like for you to be able to watch? And obviously the party we did, me doing it sober, of course, I'm 11 years sober, but we had a lot of partying action. That was great. But just the celebration side of it where you really could see how much it meant to Seal, how much it obviously means to us at Sports Handicapper, but how much it meant to just the average person that was out there for the Super Bowl because they know how big of a deal it is.
Yeah, well, you know what? I want to go back kind of the 5-6 months before when football started, and even before football, and the countless conversations and phone calls between Seal and Starsky and Seal and Sideburns and all of the messages and the news articles and the conversations that go on for hours a week on Saturday mornings, on Sunday mornings before the picks get put in. It was massive amounts of work and massive amounts of effort. And those guys who know so much more about it because they've been involved with it for so long, and they kind of put their minds together and the arguments, not the arguments that they have, but take a devil's advocate on a bet to make sure you end up on the right side. It was hours and hours and hours of work that went into it. And okay, you pay your entry and you put your picks in. If you think you just because the line's off a couple of points at the Westgate because they only use the opening line, and you think to yourself, well, I'm just going to use that all the time, it isn't going to work. It's not going to work. It's reading articles, it's seeing the team news, it's keeping up on the injuries. It's a whole lot of stuff of hours and hours of conversations and comments to each other. Did you see this? Did you see that? Did you read about this? And you're staying in touch on every single game throughout the week before the picks get put in on the Saturday. So to me, it was nice to see, knowing that I know what goes in on the back end, to see the part that everybody sees, right. But not everybody sees, like I said, the hours and hours of conversations that went on for the 17, 18 weeks before that.
Yeah, it really is. It's so much more than just making picks. Like you said, the injuries and figuring out, all right, we got 7 games we like. We got to pick 5. We got 3 games we really like. We got to find 2 more. It really is an incredible process. It's a lot of work, and it's something that, should be celebrated. I want to throw up sportshandicapper.com right now. There you can see the check and all the abilities for people to have the access to this site. And we always say this on this show, Jamie. We do this show because it's a lot of fun for us. Would we like people to sign up for these sites? Of course. But we're not, this isn't like an infomercial like some other people, call 1-800, you win, and we're going to take 80% gains for you. That's not what this is about. We know.
No, I mean, there's so much bullshit that you see online and on Twitter, on this, that, and the other. And it's all bullshit. It's all a scam. But the one thing that I do know is that the picks that this guy puts up, he's got his money on it as well.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for. You just want a bit of transparency. You want a bit of honesty and a bit of people doing what they say they're going to do. And that's all you want.
Right. And you and I know that's, I mean, like you said, all the bets, the picks that I throw out, that you throw out, that Seal, of course, throws outside, Bert Starsky, we're betting on all of them. I mean, that's the way I've always been. And luckily we got this team that's always been very successful. With Seal's, he's the grand poobah of this. And you can look at it right there. There's a 3-day trial if you want to sign up for that. Obviously, there's, monthly packages, yearly packages. Right there, Westgate Super Contest where champions are made. It really separates people. And not that Seal wasn't picking at a high level his entire life, whether it was Mid-American Conference football or the NFL. This just is more validation. There's been years where he's come close as well. Think about, winning a golf tournament. It's very tough. Just because you don't have 15 wins on the PGA Tour doesn't mean you're not one of the better golfers in the last 30 years. Or, if you're a quarterback like Dan Marino that never won a Super Bowl, but is one of the best to ever play the position, it doesn't take away from how good you are. It's a team effort. There's a lot of things that go into it. So we want people to know that sports handicappers out there are other sites, obviously Squatch Picks, Scratch Caddy we'll get to in a minute, Handicapper 911. You just try it out if you want. Once again, I'm not telling you have to do it, but you're going to win. There's not been a losing year in Seal's career ever. And the picks are out there. These are not like, it's not like where you're going to sign up and these sites that will give you half picks to one side and the other, side, or half of a game to one, set of people, and the other half of the game to other set of people. That's never going to happen. So we just want other people to know it's out there. We're always going to give you, free picks on the show as well. But it's worth it, Jamie, because this is a guy, just specifically with Seal at sportshandicapper.com, that year in, year out, whether it's been baseball, whether it's the NBA until he gives up because of all the injuries later in the year, and that's fine because you're not just going to bet to bet. And obviously college football and mainly NFL football, Seal's always turned a profit. He's never had a losing year. And obviously certain years are better than others, but that's why we want people to have the ability, if they want, to check this out, do a trial. It's not that expensive, and see what happens, because they're not only are they going to be happy, and the people that have done it in the past have been, they're going to see that this is kind of, I remember that as we did this show, throughout last football season, people would tell me, they would reach out to me on Twitter or, other social media ways, and they would say, wow, this is like a hidden gem. Don't tell more people about this, because I don't want people to know, how good you guys are and how good Seal is. I think people will see that, but you don't want to try to have to convince people, because that's you're not going to try to do a sales job. That being said, Jamie, people will see if they sign up, they're going to win. That's the way it is.
You know what? Winning, you don't really need to sell or advertise anything, because if you won the Westgate the year before, you're pretty darn good.
Right.
So that's you don't need to sell that shit. And like I said, he knows what's going on. He knows how to manage money. He knows how to manage a bankroll. And if there's bad weekends there, you're not going to see him chasing money and doubling up or tripling up on his bets on Sunday night or Monday Night Football. He's going to give out the stuff that's good for your bankroll, and he's a proven winner over time. Hey, listen, we can all lose 2 or 3 games on a Sunday and double up on a Sunday night and get lucky, and you have a winning day.
But it's not a good strategy.
That's not going to last.
Nope, not at all. All right, well, as we mentioned, Seal on assignment. Actually, I was just told he's not dropping off presents anymore. He's actually he went to New Zealand, Jamie, to a sheep farm. So he's actually learning, because he wants to have set that up in his backyard in suburban Pennsylvania. So he'll be back.
Yeah, I told him there's no Philly cheesesteaks down there, but he can get a decent lamb chop.
Yes, great lamb chops. Before we get out of here, and as we mentioned, we got a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to talk a lot of college football, a lot of NFL football, and of course, golf's going to start again soon. We have the Tour Championship going on right now. Jamie, you've had so many successful years at ScratchCaddy.com. Just let everyone know what goes into your process? And I'm going to throw your site up here, and I know that you're going to get more stuff.
Let me just let everybody know as to what was going on. I had to do. I had to go away around the British Open for some other stuff, so I was away for a little while.
Right.
And then, of course, you get everything with this live golf that was going on, and I think it was a real strange time, especially if you want to make money by betting on the PGA Tour. I mean, okay, listen, we know how a player can play on a certain course or on certain grass types that he likes. You know, does he like the tree line fairways? Does he need it big, open, wide, and open? What you don't know is the psychological aspect in the background that goes on, and you've got no ideas who was offered what, who was a firm no, who was a firm yes. We still don't know. I mean, I've seen stuff online about Cameron Smith and Cameron Young and Joaquin Neiman this and Matsuyama that. I've got no ideas if are these guys waiting for the Tour Championship? Are they waiting to play in the President's Cup and then they're going to bail? I don't know. I've got absolutely no ideas. And to me, when golf is such a sport that is so psychological, that just brings in so many unknowns. You know what I'm saying? And okay, we've seen, you've got a perennial player like a Tony Finau who's always had the quality, but he could never get over the line, could he? And now all of a sudden, these players have defected over to live, and the guy wins back-to-back. Zalatoris as well. Couldn't ever get over the line. Then he gets over the line a couple of weeks ago after the week after changing caddies. So I just thought this last couple of month and a half has been a real strange time. There's just so many more unknown variables that I've got no idea what is going on in the background. And to be honest with you,
Yeah, I think we got a little freeze action there. We'll get Jamie back in a minute, but I did want to throw up his site here, and he's going to have picks coming up again, starting in a couple of weeks with that Fortinet. The PGA decided with the whole live thing going on, they're going to change back to a yearly schedule without a wraparound, but it is going to start from September until August, and that's going to start here in a couple of weeks with the Fortinet. But you take a look at scratchcaddy.com, and something that we've been able to show you on this show over and over again is the work that Jamie puts in to his site. And obviously, it's not updated for the Tour Championship, not really a lot of great betting options with the starting strokes, and it just makes it a little tougher. But just for an example, to show you what he had for the John Deere and the worksheet that he puts together. He's got course form, recent course form, low scoring bent grass, events. That was the kind of green, the kind of grass on the greens and the John Deere. I mean, he's got all these different things that he puts together for you. Takes the work, the hours of work that it would take to do this for you, and does it every week on his own, and then releases this to all the great people at scratchcaddy.com. So I've always been very impressed and in awe of the work that Jamie's able to do with his worksheets and how people win in golf. He's had such great seasons the last several years. I know that, at parts during last season, especially as you mentioned with the live golf stuff, there were some tricky weeks, but it's very impressive stuff, Jamie. And I just wanted to give you another shout out when it comes to what you're able to do with these worksheets, with the success you've had in the past. And I know you're looking forward to getting it going again in a couple of weeks with the Fortinet Championship. Which,
exactly. I've got years and years of looking at each of these tournaments, and as to what I've looked at the previous years, see how that worked. And then I can really, I've been doing this for a long time. I've got a lot of time that I've been betting on these same tournaments on the same courses. So you know what you're kind of looking for by now. We'll be back up for the Fortinet in a couple of weeks. We'll see if we can do anything for the President's Cup, maybe some top point scorers for both sides and stuff, like maybe some match bets as well. And then we'll be back in the Sanderson Farms down in Mississippi the week after, and that'll take us up to Christmas and through the football season.
Yep, I can't wait for it, man. I mean, golf is one of my favorite things to bet, and it's been great to to get to know you in the process you go through. So a lot of credit for you there. And of course, as we mentioned, scratchcaddy.com is that site. And don't forget my site, squatchpicks.com, and
Yep.
Sideburn site, handicapper911.com. All right, before we get out of here, and it's great to see you again, Jamie, as we mentioned, we'll have Starsky and Sideburns and Seal in the coming weeks. I'll give you a chance here. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I know that you're the world's worst Aston Villa fan. Talk about your guys. EPL is back. Is Aston Villa going to get relegated this year? Are they going to get sold and can bust? What's going to happen with your?
You know what? So
squad?
we signed a Brazilian centre back, Diego Carlos, 26 million from Sevilla, and the guy's never had an injury in his whole life until he ruptures his Achilles tendon for us in his second fucking game. So our star player, our star defender, has been ruled out for a while. You know what? As Villa always, we start the season against a promoted team, playing like fucking shit. And then we get Everton, we managed to get 3 points at home in the second game, and then we lose to Crystal Palace last weekend. We've got West Ham at home this week.
Ham sandwich.
Yeah, West Ham sandwich. They haven't scored a goal this season as yet, and they've lost all 3 of their games. So you know what? Get on West Ham for 3 points at a big price, because at the end of the day, it's fucking Aston Villa.
You're going against the villains? You can't go against the villains.
Do you know what? Hey, Dan, if I bet West Ham and Villa win, I'm happy. If I bet West Ham and West Ham win, I'm happy. So you know what? I'm just hedging my bets.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up for success and happiness.
But I tell you what, I went through the whole summer and it was nice and easy and relaxed on Saturdays. Now, the last 3 weeks, I'm pulling my fucking hair out again every Saturday morning, watching the Villa play. It's crazy.
Jamie, this is the best part about being a sports fan, because I'm a Detroit Lions fan. And speaking of the devil, I know that the Aston Villa is one of their nicknames is the Lions, but the Detroit Lions have won 1 playoff game since 1957. And every year we think it's the year. And I know they're on Hard Knocks now on HBO. It's been awesome. And Dan Campbell's talking about, I don't care if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, we'll beat your ass. We'll tread water till we bury you. Everyone's lathered up in the cornbread and butter here in Detroit. I'll never change. I'll always be a fan of theirs. And that's why no matter what Aston Villa does, if they lose 15-0 to West Ham sandwich.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
You're still going to love them.
I mean, I'll still be here the next Saturday as well, but, talking shit about them. So, yeah, I mean, it's just what it is, isn't it? And I mean, especially, what kind of living down here in Costa. Because in England, it's a completely different story. You're a fan of that team, and that don't change.
Never.
It doesn't matter what the fuck happens. Down here, I'll see a kid in a Barcelona shirt next week, and then 1 week, and then the following week, I'll see him in a Real Madrid shirt. It's ridiculous down here.
By the way, I will tell you this. I meant to send you a message the other day when I was watching this. I just been recovering from some deviated septum surgery. Feeling a lot better, by the way, but still a little sore. How about it was the women's 20 and under World Cup at Alajuela Stadium in Costa Rica. I used to live down there. Are people excited about that?
Down here. It's been played in a few stadiums down here. I had no idea, to be honest with you, Dan. I mean,
I guess there's not a ton of excitement about it?
Huh?
Not a lot of excitement about that? It seemed like there was.
No, I mean, all the stadiums are absolutely empty. I haven't seen anybody there. I mean, there's maybe like 200-300 people there at a guess.
I think it's more than 200 people.
Playing.
I think it's a little more than 200 or 300 people, but I know the game I watched, I want to say it was in Sweden. I can't remember who it was, but the stadium was kind of empty. But it's still cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool to have that there.
I mean, listen, Dan. No offense. Nobody down here is going to go and watch a soccer game of Sweden versus Spain, let's say, and pay money to go and see it when the cost of things is where it is. It ain't going to happen.
Right.
I mean, we can say, Costa Rica this and Costa Rica that and all that. It's not going to happen.
Let the fans in for free then. Let them in for free.
Well, no, yeah, you may as well. Let them in for free.
All right.
People will go to it, but at least you're going to have a full stadium. And
hopefully we can get you a couple.
Players are going to play into it in front. And I saw I did see, though, that the England ladies team won the European Championships. So You know,
the only time you guys can win is when it doesn't really matter.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, the only time it comes home is when the women bring it home. You know,
well, the women are
men
great,
fucking
but I mean,
useless.
it's too bad because in England, like it's a great accomplishment for the women to do that, but like no one seems to care because it's all about the 3 lines of the men. Got to give the women some credit, Jamie.
That's what it is, which is kind of, you know, it kind of, dude. You know, I don't want to say anything that I'm going to be made to make myself look like a fucking ass.
Yeah, be careful here before we.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's fantastic, but you know, I see how the women's team in the US is. You know, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But women's soccer isn't. Before what just happened in the summer, it's nothing.
Yeah, no one really cared.
You know, nobody. You know, and unfortunately, and you know what? There's some. You know, but I saw there was 90,000 people at Wembley watching it. It was fantastic, and in its own right, it's absolutely wonderful. But you know, it's like women's baseball, I suppose. It's never going to touch the MLB. Where WNBA is nowhere near what the NBA is.
Right, but it doesn't have to be. It can be its own
No,
little
it
niche
doesn't have to be.
If
you take it on its own merits and what it is, dude, there's some real skillful players over there. So yeah, it's kind of a shame. And hopefully, you know, now that you'll see, you know, that the success of the European Championships of England, you know, those players who are playing in the ladies' league, you know, that they get higher attendances, they get paid more money, they get more exposure, and hopefully that's where it goes.
All right, I know. Future show, I want you to start handicapping some women's football for us. So I expect you to some winning picks. Get to work on it.
Again, I better be careful what I say.
All right.
Something, but not some things.
You did a great job today. Let's end it at that. Great stuff, Jamie. It's great to see you. In the coming weeks, we got a lot of great football to get.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, please check out sportshandicapper.com. You know, Seal, winner of the Westgate.
Yeah, and as I said before, Dan, I understand people's lives are busy, you know, and you know what, we don't always have time to get done what we want to do in a certain week or in a certain month. But like I said, the guys there, Seal and Starsky, they take all of the work out of it, and they'll just, you know, they'll do the work for you, and they'll give you what they know.
Yep, it doesn't get any better. I can't wait for football to be here. It's going to get college games tomorrow. All right, Jamie, great stuff by you. Until next time, keep reaching for the stars. Believe in the dream. This has been the Sports Edge powered by sportshandicapper.com. We'll see you next time. James, great job.
Shoulders back, fucking smash it.